September 17, 2025. This is the S&P 500 E-futures mini on the 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. This is FOMC rate decision day. As everybody thought, they cut the rates by about a quarter point for 0.25. And the announcement came during this time, 11 o'clock Pacific Standard, which right around 10:45, I blocked it off to about 11:15. And you can see the crazy volatility that happened. I mean, it went from like 66.86 all the way down to about 66.40. So that's like a 40-point drop. Very quickly happened. And then right around 11:30 Pacific Standard, which is about right here, is when Fed Chair Powell came out and gave some color commentary on what he thinks is, well, he didn't really say what he's going to do, but he just gave some color commentary what the Fed and the Fed presidents are thinking. So it caused this kind of big sell-off here. Overall, the market was very choppy today, and right before the Fed decision, it was really slow, noticeably slow. Then after their decision came out, and also when Fed Chair Powell was speaking, it got really volatile, created this really crazy whipsaw price action. I guess you could label this as maybe kind of just sideways, but it was very choppy because you could see the sell-off with two legs down recovered with a spike and maybe a channel. And I got to be honest, right around this region, it was super choppy. So I'm not even sure some of my channels are drawn correctly. So it was very hard for me to trust the setup or take a trade. So that was the only thing that came out today. Going to go into the trades right now. I took a total of 2 trades, one right here, you can see, and then another right here. They were both winners. I tried to take a trade right here, but I missed. In other words, I tried to take a trade, and then the trade went without me, and then it made the scalp, then I had to cancel the order. The pre-market looks like it was one leg down, pull back, a second leg down. I'm not really sure what's happening right here, but it was pretty choppy. Pushes back up, pull back, pushes up, and then it kind of opens near the high, or opens and it pushes to the pre-market high. This is just very choppy. You technically can find second entries in here, second entry long, second entry shorts, but the context, it's just hard to really tell what's going on because this is, for the most part, looks like it's sideways with a slight bearish bias, but it's hard to trade because the candles are just moving side by side, stacked against each other. Break of this orange down channel starts reversing up strongly on this green up channel. Technically, you have a new low, first entry short right here. Then there's a second entry short. Second entry short, it is making a pre-market high. Well, it is testing the pre-market high, makes a brand new high here. But when it came down, it didn't close very strongly bearish. So when you see this candle, you don't know if this one's going to show up. So I didn't take a trade and didn't have the trade ready. But when this flushed down, I was looking for a lower high. Lower high doesn't show up until about right here. Lower high, I wanted a better EMA touch, but I also thought at the time, the way I had it drawn, is a little ambiguous to me whether this lower high, so it's like a new high, pushes down, could be a lower high confirming the second entry short. Is this lower high still within this yellow, excuse me, still within this orange down channel? Or should it have been a little bit tighter, maybe have a break and test the low? So when you see this in real time, like this lower high is hard to know if it's confirming the bearish bias or there could still be some more pushing down to the price action. So broke, test the low, starts moving sideways, hard to trade here. I saw a new low, first entry short, almost makes a double bottom because this actually is one tick above. Actually, they're the same tick, I take that back. So, but I did see as a first entry short, potential second entry short, EMA rejection, potential high of this trading range, but I didn't like it because if you try to sell, you'd be selling into the low of this trading range. So something I noticed in real time, but just couldn't trust it, couldn't trust the setup. Pushes down, potential fail breakout, makes it a double bottom, so count resets. Effectively a first entry short, but it makes new bottom again. Pushes up on one leg. Breakout on this side makes another fail breakout on this side, symmetrical for this trading range. And I had it up a little bit higher right here. Actually, I didn't quite move it. Pushes down, looks like it has 2 legs up. So it's one leg up, pull back, second leg up. Starts a strong reversal, a new low, first entry short, second entry short. It's a bad signal bar. I'm looking for a lower high. And you don't get a lower high. It kind of reverses back up, bounces. So I'm clearly thinking we're in a range right now. New high, first entry long pullback, second entry long. I call this an almost trade. Again, similar to this one. It's bouncing off support. This could be the start of a second entry long. I just didn't like how it closed below the EMA because EMA is starting to look like it's coming into play. You had two pushes above, two attempts above the EMA, but didn't go anywhere. So clearly it's being pushed down by this trading range high. So it's a first entry long, second entry long. If this closed a little bit more bullish and ideally above the EMA, I think I would have tried to take a quick scalp here. But I saw this in real time, wasn't sure what I was looking at. I wanted to see the next candle, pushes up. Fortunately, by the time this candle opens and closes, it's too late for this trade. Pushes up, clearly a failed breakout of this trading range, pushes back down, first entry long, creates a second entry long, but I'm not thinking of going long just yet because it looks like it could be in this green down channel. And with this overshoot of this failed breakout, I'm expecting potentially another symmetrical overshoot here. Keep in mind, this purple trading range, I don't have drawn yet, so I couldn't really use this as a key entry point saying there's some kind of resistance here and prices moving back down. I did see it as a fail breakout, so I'm thinking prices could still test the low. It could be a break of the green and then test the low, creating a symmetrical breakout of this original blue trading range. Pushes up, first entry long, second entry long, looking for a higher low. You technically have a higher low right here. This higher low I thought was a little aggressive, and here's why. So clearly this trading range looks like it's holding. It's pushing in and closes right where I have my trading range drawn. Let me just bump it up a little bit. Kind of bothers me when it's a little low. Okay, so it could be right at the highs. This is prices coming from a failed breakout at the top of the range. It looks like it was one leg down, pullback, potential second leg down, bouncing off support. Second entry long, it's confirming the second entry long. It's a strong engulfing bar. It didn't close at the high, but it closed pretty close to it. And the thing I was worried about was this potential resistance. So I don't really like buying into this range. Skipped it. Of course, it does work. Pushes up. When it hits here, that's when I draw this larger, see if I can highlight it, this larger purple trading range, or this pink one, because it looked like it was like one touch, two touch, three touch, potential triple test, new low, first entry short, second entry short, second entry short. It just had too much tail here, so I'm actually looking for a lower high ideally if it continues down. Pushes down, doesn't give you the lower high, so if you're more aggressive, maybe there's a trade there. Pushes down, there's a fail breakout here now. So it's a new high, first entry long, pullback. Technically, you have a second entry long. Second entry long, when I see this in real time, I'm not sure if it's going to be a breakout pullback or it could just be a fail breakout. Pushes up. Now I actually think this is a possible trade here because it's a new high, first entry long, pullback. Second entry long hasn't failed yet, but it looks like it could fail. New low, first entry short, pullback, second entry short. Second entry short could be confirmed by the next candle. Keep in mind you are right here at the support area, so I thought this is also kind of aggressive. It's a good signal bar. EMA is kind of starting to hold resistance because it was acting as resistance here. It wasn't helping too much, but now it might be acting as resistance here. So I didn't really like it because again, might be selling. In this case, over here was buying into the highs of this trading range. This one here, green. But in this case, it could be selling into the low of this bigger purple one. So a little confusion. I wasn't too sure. Wasn't aggressive. Felt it. Wasn't quite safe for me. So pushes down. It would have worked. Pushes, chops. It looks like it's in its another trading range right here. So there's like three trading ranges now, but no really big one to capture at all. I thought it was maybe this purple one at one time. So it starts reversing down. I drew this yellow down channel. I trusted the high side a little bit more because it's one touch, two touch. Technically, this is where we started, so it's actually three touches. Low side, I don't really trust, but I'm thinking there's might be a slight bearish bias to this. So I'm just watching this closely. Pushes down, two dojis. Don't know what to make of that, so I'm just waiting. Starts looking like it reverses up, then flushes down. And now it's failing to move back into this trading range. You can see it kind of pushes down, new low, first entry short, second entry short, no trade there. EMA is clearly looking like it's acting as support, excuse me, in resistance in this case. Pushes down, new low, first entry short, kind of makes a double bottom, pushes. I thought you might be in a trading range here, but it's not fully vetted. Looks like it was two legs up, pushes up. It creates a second entry short. Technically, account resets here. First entry short, second entry short, measure move has been made. potential fail breakout of this developing range, and there's a strong bullish engulfing bar. So I thought there was a possible trade here because you have a confirmed second entry short, strong close, push below the EMA. Yes, it could test the high of this green up channel. It looked like a measured leg was made, so I was thinking there might be enough momentum for a quick 1 point scalp. In this case, it would have worked, and then there was a lower high here. Lower high, I didn't really like it just because it didn't close below the EMA. It's closing right at the EMA. EMA is being ambiguous again. It's kind of going sideways. So called an almost trade. But in this case, if you took this trade and your stop was here, if you're going for 2 points, you wouldn't have gotten out yet. And this candle probably would have gotten you out. If you're still here, you'd be hanging in, and then this would have stopped you out. So a little bit of a riskier trade. Then prices move up. I drew this transparent red up channel, has 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch. High side really only has 2 confirmations, a fail breakout, pushes down. I'm expecting a fail breakout on this side. So it's a first entry long. If it creates a second entry long, I'd be hesitant to take it just yet because it's going in the same direction as the original bias. And I'm expecting a potential break on this side since there was an overshoot. I'm also thinking, could there be a test of this yellow down channel? This is a pretty big yellow down channel. It doesn't fit the best, but that's still in the realm of possibility. Pushes up and out. Oh, also, this is right around 10:45, and all of this was really slow until 11 o'clock. So this is like 15 minutes from pretty much this line to this line. And knowing that the FOMC rate decision is coming up, if I saw anything here, I'd be very reluctant to take a trade because look at this candle here. It's like 16 points and it happened very quickly. This is very short time frame with a lot of volume and a lot of price action moving here. So this is a no trade zone because this is the FOMC rate decision. Even if you see a second entry, you'd have to be really gutsy and really quick because you could easily get stopped out just because in this candle is deceiving. A lot of these candles are deceiving. It looks like it may have just opened here, came down, and then pushed all the way up. But actually, during the formation of each of these candles, they were just chopping around quite a bit. So if you had a really disciplined stop, you might have gotten stopped out even though you were right on your thought. And same thing would have happened here. It would have opened, just done a whole bunch of things, and eventually closed down here. So this is just ripe for, it says danger all over it. So I'm going to go skip through this because there was no trade I was willing to take. And it gets to about right here, 715, 716. So I'm watching price action more carefully again. Even if, as I said, even if I saw a trade set up in here, I'd be very reluctant to take it because you're just going to get chopped up here. It's a new low. It's a first entry short pullback. This is a second entry short. I really wanted a better signal bar. I was just extra cautious because this is a good signal bar, but I wanted it to be red, and it pretty much made a measured move. First entry short, second entry short. Prices could be coming back down. So I'm now looking for a lower high. Pushes down. This could be a lower high, but I don't like that it's green. Pushes up. And then it creates this potential lower high. But this isn't really a lower high because this candle is actually higher than this. But I called it the lower high. First entry short, second entry short, push up. Actually makes a new high. Closes really strongly. I actually tried to take this trade because I was thinking, okay, this is technically higher than this. Flush down, strong close. I'm expecting a push back down. So when it opened here, it pushed up and then it flushed down. I dropped in my order 1 tick below, but by the time that happened, it had already moved my 1 point scalp. So I thought, okay, well, I don't really want to try to chase this because it's still kind of volatile. But in this case, it would have worked. If I stayed and chased it and I got filled down here and didn't get the scalp, this candle likely would have stopped me out. So although I missed this trade, in hindsight, I'm actually kind of happy that I missed it because it goes to show that even after, in this case, 20 minutes after this announcement happened, it's still super volatile. And a day like this, where Fed Chair Powell is coming out at 11:30 Pacific Standard, things could still be really choppy, and it kind of was when he comes out and adds some color commentary and takes some Q&A, because you don't know how the market's going to interpret it. So it pushes up, looks like it's 2 legs up. I tried to find a channel that fit, but nothing quite fit just right. And this is right about when he came out and started speaking. So I had this at one time, excuse me, Moved my yellow channel just now, but I had something like this, but it didn't really help. There was a technical, well, there's no real second entry long because it made a new high here. Pushes up, flushes down, break, tested low. It's just getting sideways. Fed Chair Powell's giving color commentary, saying how they came to their decision, what they think is going to happen, et cetera, et cetera. Confidence in that they're doing the right thing, et cetera. Starts pushing down. It's just noisy. Pushes up. This is actually where I take my first trade. So it makes a new low. Say first entry short, pullback, second entry short. Technically, you have a new high, first entry long, pullback. You could say you have a second entry long here. Now, there's a hidden second entry long here because you can see clearly this is first entry long. When this guy closed here, you can tell it actually dropped down, opened a little lower, came down and up. So actually, if you look at a smaller time frame, there's a first entry long, pullback, closes here, opens here, so it's actually a smaller drop. So your second entry long occurs. So if you counted a first entry long, second entry long hidden, then here technically it's failed. It's also second entry short. When I saw this and I saw how this was reacting, I said, I think there's a trade here. So when this opened, it was actually oscillating just a bit, pushed below where this pink arrow, pink triangle is, pushed below. I dropped in my order. It came back up, picked me up. And during this oscillation, when this candle's forming, it hit my 1 point scalp, and I was just kind of out of the trade. I was pretty happy with that. It was a quick trade, a little noisy. Prices continue moving down. There's also a new low. First entry short pullback, potential second entry short. I thought this was a possible trade here. It's a good third touch. It's kind of moved since then. I'm going to bring it back. So it's like one touch, two touch, three, technically almost a third touch. This could be considered a fourth touch. Nevertheless, it is a touch, and its rejection off this yellow down channel, pushed strongly below the EMA. I like that it moved one tick up, flushed down, first entry short, second entry short. Thought it was a possible trade here. You don't know that this is going to happen. Yeah, not sure why the market reacted this way. Pushes down, new low, first entry short, but then it makes a new low. So you could say first entry short and then account resets, potential second entry short, but also new high here. First entry long pullback, second entry long, potential second entry long failure. When it fails and you have a confirmed second entry long, because there's a nice EMA touch rejection, almost touch here. I think I actually had this drawn a little bit, a little tighter here. Had something closer to this because it looked like it was one touch, two touch, three touch, kind of a fail breakout here. A fourth touch. I forgot if I had it just where it touches here, but that's where the failed second entry long potential trade would have been. Also looks like it's two legs up from the bottom. Bias is clearly bearish. Pushes down. Looks like it was going to create a lower high. It creates a lower high. So I was watching this. It opens, it flushes down. It was pushing really strongly. And it's hard to explain, but I was watching this candle form and it was getting volatile. It was like ricocheting down, pushing down harder than it was climbing back up. So what it was looked like there was a lot of sellers. It triggers, pushed it down hard. Some buyers tried to bring it back up, then pushed down hard again. So I took this on the engulfing below the original signal bar because on a first entry short, second entry short, it's a terrible signal bar, but this could be a lower high confirming the failed second entry long. I actually got the fill. This happened very quickly. I got the 1 point scalp, and in this case, I had a runner. And before I could move my runner down and even move my runner from actually up here, my stop, it flushed down and took out my runner as well. So it was a very quick reactive trade, and it's hard to explain. I kind of saw this in the moment. I was noticing more bearish push, stronger than the recovery bulls trying to buy it back. So I took it on a hunch. Not the best trade, definitely a little riskier. Prices then continue moving down. It's a new low. First entry short. Technically, you have a first entry long here. It's really subtle, very hard to see one tick above. This one created second entry long. Unfortunately, this is a terrible signal bar, so I would not have been ready to take this trade. Pushes back down. Now I'm kind of checked out on trying to take a long or a short because these candles are just spanning the same range, the same entire length of each other. Pushes down. It's getting a little sideways. Pushes down. Break of the orange down channel. Tests the low. Starts reversing up. You have a first entry short here, but it could also be seen as one big leg. Also, break of the green has tested the high, then it pushes up. So technically, a first entry short. You have a second entry short here, but you have really nothing going on here. It looks like it was a spike and then a more gradual channel up. There's no clean second entries here. There's a new high, potential first entry short, excuse me, new high, first entry long pullback, second entry long. Maybe it's a bounce off of this, but I didn't really like the signal bar. I was looking for a higher low, but by the time I see a doji and it's almost doji, it kind of made me very cautious. Pushes up. Technically, you have a higher low here, but now it's near the highs or the localized highs. So I don't want to be tempting fate with a potential resistance here. Plus, I did have two winning trades already on a super volatile day, so I wasn't really looking to try to get a squeeze out a third trade. Prices get choppy, pushes up. Potential break of this purple has tested the high, starts reversing. You have a double top, so it's a first entry long. Then you restart the count here. Technically, you have a first entry long here because one tick above, but I don't really like when these things kind of happen when they're wrong colored candles, which is all the way down. Technically, you have a second entry long potential here. Break of this green down channel. The thing I wasn't sure about was, is the break of the green down channel, is it going to test the low again? And technically, you have a new high, actually starting from here. First entry long, but how reliable is this first entry long? It looks like it was just one leg, so I thought this is more of a first entry long, more legitimate. Of course, it works, so I'm looking for a second entry long, which is up. By the time it gets up to here, it's recovered this entire move. I'm reluctant to try to take a second entry long now, pushes strongly back down. You could say it's a new high, first entry long pullback, second entry long. You don't have this yellow up channel drawn yet, so I can't use it as key entry point, but maybe there's a trade here. The follow through wasn't very strong, but this one looks pretty good. There might be a higher low here. I should have marked this actually. There is a higher low confirming the visual first entry long pullback, second entry long, higher low, enough for a quick 1 point scalp. So actually there is a possible trade here. I did have a preliminary trend line drawn here. I didn't turn into a channel yet, so that actually looks something like this. It was just a blue line. Pushes up, potential bounce, kind of congested here, presses up, another touch. So that at this point, I turn it into a channel. I think I had it yellow before. I trust it as a channel, but it's also getting a little late in the day. Presses up, breaks, consolidates. First entry long. Technically, you have a second entry long here, but decent signal bar below the EMA though, so no real trade there. And I move sideways. Break of this red touches the low, pushes back up and over. First entry short. Potential second entry short, but it's a little flat. EMA is not giving any extra indication of which way it's going. Plus, it's an inside bar, so I'm not a big fan of that. Just gets noisy. New high, first entry long pullback. You technically have a second entry long, but you don't really quite have a support area. You have a developing support area, but I didn't feel I trusted it enough because is there a potential top of the range here? So this blue range wasn't drawn yet. The prices continue moving, hits the low, and by this time it's already too late in the day because you can see the timestamp is right around 12:47. So as I said, I already had two positive trades. I wasn't going to try to tempt fate. Kind of moves sideways. It's really whippy. Looks like it's clearly in a trading range. This could have been a decent trade if it happened at a different time of the day because it looks like it's hitting support. Clearly looks like it's moving back, but it's too late in the day to try to take something here. Presses down and moves into the close. So as with other typical FOMC decision days, they usually come in on Wednesdays. The first, I would say, 3 hours of trading is really slow because this is from here to about 10:45. So right around here is 11 o'clock. So 6:30 to 11 o'clock is 3.5 hours. You can tell how much happened in 3.5 hours. Then here to here is about 2 hours, less than 2 hours. You can see how much price action happened from here to here. This is the same amount of time roughly as this, actually a little shorter. And you can see the crazy volatility that occurs. So stuff like this, you want to pretty much stay out of anything in here because it's really risky, really quick way to lose a trade. You could also, on the flip side, there's a really good way to make a lot of money, but you have to guess right, and you probably have to keep your stops really large. And in the long term, I don't think it's a good value proposition to try to trade something in here. So kind of how I saw the charts. Hopefully that was helpful.